Here we have an app that's used for facial recognition. It's based on research done back in the 1990s. These are 40 different scientists' faces, and the research was done at AT&T Laboratories in Cambridge, England. The way this works is it's based on the Pythagorean theorem, and what it does is it compares the pixels for each picture using the Pythagorean theorem. And when the distances between two pictures are the closest, it assumes that they're the same person, from the same person. And so here's how it works. I'll click on this person, and what I've got there is I got 10 versions of that person's face, 10 different instances of that person's face. And now I'm going to click on one of these, and what it's going to do is we've got 40 scientists, and each one has 10 different versions of their face. So there's a total of 400 pictures altogether. And when I click on this, it's going to go against 399 of them. So it's going to leave this particular one out, and it's going to find the ones that are closest in distance using the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so here we have, this happens to be the closest. It goes by order. So this is the closest, second closest, third closest, all the way down here. And then you get this one, this doesn't match. So this is actually one that's not the same person. And that's what the red means. The red means it's an error. The green means it was good. Now let's look at one of these people closer. Okay, so that's the original picture I clicked on first. That's the first instance of that person. And this is the one I just clicked on a second ago. It's a lower resolution version of it because the way the algorithm works, it works off of a lower resolution image because it turns out that it works better when it's lower resolution. Now what I can do is I can actually investigate if I want, so I can look at pixel at a time. So I can look at just this pixel. So the value of this pixel over here is 69. The one over here is 150. And it's getting the difference, the square difference between them, and then that's the square difference. It's in row 12, column 12. It's pixel 320. There's 644 pixels altogether. So this is a generalized version of the Pythagorean theorem to 644 dimensions. And what it does is you pick a face, it goes against the database of all of the images and finds the 10, that are actually closest using the Pythagorean theorem. And here's the final value squared, and then that's the square root of it. So this is basically just nothing but the Pythagorean theorem. And you can also do this scroll, so it'll actually go through picture by picture, pixel by pixel, and you can stop it if you want to. So it kind of gives you an idea what's going on. Now there's a little tutor that sort of describes what's happening too. Now I think the real value of this, would be a lot more fun, would be if the students actually put in their own faces. So they could take their own pictures, they could load them into this, and then go through the same process. So there'd be more involvement, and they could play around more with it. And the idea is to have an interesting application of the Pythagorean theorem that doesn't just involve the hypotenuse of a triangle. And this happens to be something called the nearest neighbor algorithm, which is used a lot in data science. So they're being introduced to concepts from data science also. So I think it's pretty neat.